Well, this time in the Room of Rock, we take our new guitar apart and upgrade some of the components in our ongoing pursuit for tone. So, hang around and see whether the time and effort spent was worth it. Hi, and welcome to the Room of Rock with Ted and I. This time in the Room of Rock, this is video number 3/4 on our Vintage V130 CRS guitar. This time in the Room of Rock, it's in for some upgrades. If you'd seen the thumbnail image there, you might have seen one or two bits laid around the guitar. I can tell you exactly what they are, and I might bring up a bigger picture of that so you don't have to squint at a little thumbnail to see. First of all, there's a couple of CTS pots for it, obviously made in America. There's some Sprague orange capacitors. One's an orange drop capacitor, I think 22 microfarad for the tone, and the other is a Sprague treble bleed kit, or a high pass filter for the volume. Idea being that when you roll the volume back a bit, you don't lose so much treble. The original wiring setup for this was a bit of a culprit for that. When you rolled the volume back at all, it did take the edge off the treble, which is fine, but really that's what the tone control should be doing. You shouldn't need to have that happening on the volume as well. So that should cure that. And the other thing, there's some vintage wiring, some vintage spec thicker wiring, so I'm going to take out the modern little flimsy wiring and replace that with that. And the biggest upgrade is an Oil City P90 pickup. So what I intend to do is fit that and then do some back-to-back sound comparisons so you can hear the difference and see whether that's been money well spent or not. Whilst I like the guitar, I feel that the snap pickup is a little bit harsh in the upper frequencies, which is typical of a ceramic magnet in my opinion. Whilst their outputs are quite good, they do tend to be a little bit harsh in the upper frequencies, a bit spiky maybe, and not so smooth and rounded. So the pickup I've gone for, they're handmade in England, in London, and it's called I think a JIN-GO, which is their master wound pickup. So they reckon it rivals any boutique pickups, and that's got, I believe, Alnico 5 rough cast magnets in it, when the Alnico magnets do tend to give a smoother treble response. So I'm quite excited about that, and it'd be interesting to see whether we can hear a difference when we back it, or whether I've wasted my money. So let's hope not, eh? I was going to go for a Seymour Duncan Antiquity for it, a dog ear P90. I like Seymour Duncan pickups. I've got them in my Squire Strat, and I've got them in my Telecaster, and faultless, can't fault any of them. They've all sounded really good and pretty well as described on their website. But the reason I didn't go for it on this occasion was the Antiquity, I think in America, is about $93, so I don't know what that would be, maybe about £80 sterling, but over here they're £129, so wherever you look they're £129, so that's getting on towards $150. So you think, well, I'm not actually getting $150 worth of pickup, because in the States they're selling them for so much cheaper. So it's all to do with import duty and the exchange rate. So I happened to be just trawling around the internet, and I stumbled across a company in London that makes pickups, and they reckon they can rival any of the boutique brands. And I paid, I think with delivery, about £88 for this. They do cheaper pickups, but I thought, well, it's cheaper than the pickup I was going to go for. So it saved me from 130, 40 something pounds. So I thought, well, we can afford to go for the best, and I'm supporting British industry. So I'm hoping it'll be as good as I'm led to believe. And if it is, I might go for a pair of PAF humbuckers for my Les Paul. So we'll see. We'll see what it's like when we try it. Anyway, hang around, and what I'll do a back-to-back. There'll be the guitar as it is at the moment. To be honest with you, I've already changed out the pots and the capacitors and the wiring I could get to. So there's looks like only bit of original wiring is the wires from the pickup and a earth wire from the bridge through to the earth points in the guitar cavity. Everything else now has been changed out, and I did that just so that I could get that done, and because it doesn't really affect the tone. It's made no difference. I think, to be honest, the only thing is the treble bleed does work, and it does retain high frequencies with the volume rolled off more. And I think the the tone control is smoother in operation. I think you can wind it back and it's got a more linear response. The other one went so far, then it suddenly seemed to really lop off the high frequencies all within the space of, a very, very small movement, 2 or 3 numbers on the dial, where this now does seem to be a lot more linear in its response. So right the way back, and it does still, I would say, probably from full open to full close, the sounds are pretty much the same, because I've replaced the values like for like. The value of the capacitance and the value of the pots have been changed like for like, but with better quality components. And the reason I did it really was, apart from losing treble when you round the volume down, was I thought, well, it's kind of a fit and forget. If I'm going in there to alter the wiring for the pickup, I might as well do that at the same time, and then if I like the pickup, that's job done. Seal it up and just play it and enjoy it, and change strings as and when they wear out. That's kind of my approach. Whilst I quite like meddling with the guitar, once I've got it as I want it, I just want to use it and play with it. I don't want to keep pulling it apart every 5 minutes. That's not what I'm about. I don't mind tinkering with it to get it as I want it, or as I hope it should be. But when I've got there, or as near to there as I feel is realistic, I'm quite happy to leave it to just be played and enjoyed. So anyway, see how we get on with that, and see if we can hear any difference, and if the money's been well spent or not. This image shows the old wiring in the guitar coming out. The next image shows my little wiring harness going in, with the pots soldered together along with the capacitors. This image, you can see the difference in size between the American CTS pots, full size pots, and the mini pots that were actually in the guitar. Whilst they performed fine at the moment, in terms of longevity, they're not going to last as long as the full-size pots. Well, as we always say, if you like what we're doing here in the Room of Rock, and you like this kind of video, something slightly different for us, please give it a thumbs up, and feel free to comment, and like and subscribe. Great, it means a lot to Teddy Boy. It really boosts his confidence. As you know, he wants to be bigger than Sooty. He's got a little way to go yet, but a thumbs up will mean a lot to him. Well, now you've had a chance to listen to the sound clips, let us know in the comments what you think. Whether you think I've wasted my money on the Oil City pickup, or if you do think it was better than the Wilkinson. I feel myself I haven't wasted my money. I think it was a good buy. I think it's definitely got a nice smoother upper end. It's still a bright pickup, which is what you want from a P90 or any single coil, but the high end is smoother, and I think it's got a more punchy mid. So when it's been overdriven, it's got more clout and it comes over nice in the mix, and it's smoother, a smoother distortion, more controlled, I think. Anyway, but that's just my opinion, so let me know what you think. Well, to summarise then, I hope that's proved interesting. I don't know whether you can hear any difference between the two pickups. As I say, black t-shirt equals the Oil City pickup and the white equals the original Wilkinson pickup. There might be very little perceived difference in them over YouTube by the time the video's been edited, processed, etc. But hopefully you've gained something from that. What I feel in the room is that this pickup is more pleasant on the ear. It's less harsh in the upper frequencies. That's definite, and I think the fact that even if it maybe doesn't come out on the recording, that if what you're listening to while you're playing is nicer, you know, that makes you A, want to play more, and B, you know, you play better if you're getting a sound that you like. And I definitely do prefer this. Possibly the difference isn't massively dramatic, but what I might find is if I was to ever put the old pickup back in there, then it would be, you know, a real shock just how harsh that was compared to this. I don't know. But anyway, you know, for people in the UK, Oil City represent another avenue to explore if you are looking to change or upgrade your pickups. It might be worth checking out their website and seeing what you think. As I say, you know, I bought the pickup myself. I was impressed with their customer service and their quick response to my emails and advice. So maybe give them a try. Anyway, we'll see you again soon in the Room of Rock with Ted and I. Oh, and I'll play you out with a little bit of a jam using my looper pedal backing track, and that'll all be using the Oil City pickup.